How are you?
I'm good. Hi, Craig.
So,
Hey, how are y'all?
You know.
Yeah.
uh, I think that's a big question.
Oh man.
A lot.
I'm making a character for another campaign. I'm been invited to.
Alright, so we don't like Ian anymore, right?
No.
Oh, I gotta be honest, gang. I'm a whore for campaigns on the
Wording.
block.
No. I think we've said
My
this
schedule
before.
is wide open.
We have an open relationship. I think.
I can't even actually beef because I'm in a one other Cyberpunk campaign, and I might be entering a second Cyberpunk campaign.
It's me and Darian have another game too. It's okay.
You
So we're,
fucker.
so we're all whores then.
Mm-hmm. No, we have an
Yep.
open relationship. We've talked about this before.
It better
It's
be an
okay.
open. Even if it's not an open relationship, it's gonna be.
Right.
It is now.
Exactly.
Straight up, I'm a hoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Darren and I are in agreement on this. Nothing wrong with a little hoeing. Also, I apologize for not looking at the list of shit that
It's
we
okay.
could do. I do have some things I want to do, but I also Bastion. I gotta be honest. I literally last session I was like, man, I get a whole week to think about what I want to do, and then every single time I'm like, we end the session. I'm like, oh man, there's so much I want to do, and then the session ends, and it's like the next day, and it's like, didn't I have
Well,
I got
technically,
shit I gotta do.
It's only been you've only been in Thunderscrum for like a day and a half. So like the last 3 or 4 games have been the same day. So you guys still have about a month and a half before you actually need to do anything. Me asking you missions that sound interesting to you is so I can plan ahead. So there is no rush, but I would like to be able to build maps and think of other side quests.
Oh, okay. Because
yeah.
I was sitting here thinking like, damn, I have no idea what the fuck I would do with 7 months of the ability to create stuff.
Yeah, no, you have about a month and a half of free time before the war actually starts.
Yeah, I know for sure I want to devote time to just finishing the big flying fortress. Like, I think that's priority numero uno. At least for Bastion.
Right.
For me, it's going to be talking to the different gods and people, and especially that great old one thing.
Yeah. Can you say great old one cultist? That one's crazy.
Assassinating a Golgarian.
Assassinating a who?
A Golgarian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do like that it's just assassinate the university president, assassinate the president of the Golgari Mint, and it's like a million assassinates.
Yes.
Well, we got to get on it.
You guys are the heavy hitters, the shock team. It would take 100 soldiers to do what you 3 can do, so they're sending you after the big guys.
Yeah.
Because you're equipped to do that. And there are also other people doing these sorts of missions other than you. It's the ones that you guys don't want to do that they're going to send other people on. But, yes.
Yeah. Would it be... Now...
The university president is treating my sister like shit, so...
Yeah, and possibly mind-controlling her.
Would it be possible for us... Because I think, like, we're also kind of at the point where I think the 3 of us on our own each could do some of these.
Yeah. Well, the only trouble with that is
split the party for 7 months.
The only trouble with that is while one person is off doing one thing, the other 2 of you are going to be bored. Unless you won't be.
No. I mean, like,
you could do some meanwhile stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say like we could. Well, not necessarily meanwhile, but just to like, here's some things we actually want to all 3 of us do, but then like, I think we just do some roles of like okay, Darian wants to go assassinate the university president. I don't think Matt and I are entirely for that, but we could do a like, okay, Darian, try to assassinate the university president, make some rolls.
Yeah, or if I think honestly if we were all three doing like separate things, we'd do like 5 minutes at a time, you know,
Mhm.
and like
Cliffhanger.
rotate. Yeah, yeah. I hadn't thought about that. Of meanwhile stuff. I usually whatever. It
Yeah, because I mean, feasibly convincing some of the champions. That's not necessarily like we all three of us gotta be there.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Or like the Church of Gond. I don't know if the champion of Vivian and Rakul are really gonna help in that at all.
Hey,
Yeah.
It's not like an attack against y'all, but it's like
Hey,
And-
we're
and-
his creations too.
you're actually
Not me.
not.
Yeah.
That's like a
I'm a
fundamental
problem.
rule of Bailey's lore.
Genzai are Gon's creation. Humans are not.
Damn it!
I'm not human anymore.
True. True.
I classify it as part of his problem.
Yeah, but
Oh my
God
God.
didn't create angels.
So the great old ones. What I'm hearing.
Yeah, the Maw created them.
The what?
Well, we wouldn't have been created if he didn't create the place where we live.
True.
Okay, no, pause.
Yeah, that's
the idea
true.
of the Maw creating the great old ones is legitimately the most terrifying lore implicating theory that you've ever just casually said, Ian.
Look,
Like-
man. Here's the thing about big mysterious end bosses is that if you say the most insane shit possible, eventually one of them's going to be a little right.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I say, the more Bailey has to be like, oh, I can't like say anything about that.
No comment.
The moon is hollow.
God.
Yeah, I bet the Maw created the gods.
I still have. I've been bothering Bailey for the past like 2 days. But like, hey, question about this, and she just responds with, "Huh? You can figure that out. You can try and ask and find out." I'm like, please, just a piece of info. It's like, nope.
No.
Figure
You
it
can.
out.
Funnily enough,
Madam.
what's hilarious is I've already told you all the fucking answers.
I know.
You already know. You just
I
gotta
know.
put it together.
I'm the note taker, Bailey. You think that this
Yes.
doesn't eat at me every day?
No, I live for you texting me your weird theories, so...
Guys, just so you know, one of the theories I had was whether the great old ones knew how this goes because they've seen it before, and if we'd be able to talk to them instead of trying to jump ahead to the future, which we can't do using Elder Avarice, because they already know how this goes, because this isn't actually a breaking of the universe. And Bailey said, you can ask. Who knows? Figure it out. It's awesome. I hate it.
At any rate,
Anyway,
current time is near the afternoon, day 38 of 1379. Last game, you guys surrendered Ash to the Thunderscrum police and then convinced the courier to hold on to Kara's soul. He's doing that as a personal favor, not courier business. And then you heard King Henry tell Victor that he's essentially going to be holding Stephen and Ass hostage in case Pale or McCool try anything. Finally getting Victor to be okay with them and Pale being here. You're currently in Thunderscrum Castle, the breakfast room. Henry and Wade and some other random admin people and guards are here. Pale, you're still fucked up from the Communion Blade. What do you guys do?
I go and just try and figure out a way to get Ash out of prison and just try to find a way to smooth that over.
Okay.
Because
The other
it's
two of you?
easy.
Oh. Does Pale need an escort at this point?
Yeah, is Pale like able to
Fine.
fucking walk?
Yeah, you're kind of limping and everything hurts.
I'll
You
just,
feel like you're gonna throw up.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
just
fine.
bridal carry Pale.
I'm just like, no, I'm fine. I'm just, God, your arms are surprisingly soft.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've lost a lot of blood.
Yeah, you have like 5 to 4.5 points of exhaustion. You're not doing good.
Don't you die at 6?
Yeah,
Good, okay.
and technically you're not supposed to be able to walk at all at 5, but
Mhm. I'm built different. It's okay.
Oh, I was
Yeah.
gonna. Bailey, I have a concept for a device.
yes.
I'll propose it to the class instead of DMing you about it, just because I'm curious. Would it be possible for me to create a sort of ring of... So, okay, we're against soul stealing.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
that's stealing from the cycle of life. Or people who already have souls and then we use them against their consent. But if we're like, hey, if you put this ring on, we can get your soul into a robot body if you ever die.
You could definitely suggest that to people. Almost no Thunderscremians are gonna think are gonna volunteer for that. But if you want vegan souls to put into robots, there are gonna be some people somewhere who are down.
I gotta help the Gandhians out, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, in all of Vecna's years trying to achieve immortality, he just needed to be a robot.
Do you guys think that we could build something strong enough to do that?
Oh, to bring Vecna back to life? Good fucking luck.
Well,
I'm older than Vecna, aren't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Raven Queen
With-
and Vivian.
Do you think that we would be... Wait. How many people worshipped Vecna? It's, what, 20,000 souls to become a god?
Yeah, I have a chart for this. Let me go find it.
Hey, Bastion.
Yeah.
How strong... How many souls can one robot body realistically maximum hold? Would you be able to build one that could hold more than one soul?
I mean, yeah, you would just have to find a way to be able to route all the power into multiple. It'd require a pretty large amount of things, though.
Hey, Bailey, how far away would we be from quantum computing for soul storage?
Fucking,
Because I want to see if we can Catan this shit.
Oh my
If
god.
we can hold...
Oh my god.
If we can hold gods as direct weapons, if we can have a Vecna gun...
A Vecna gun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it's... Like, I'm just saying, his hand probably has, what, 5,000 souls in it? Just worth of power?
That's not really how it works.
Well, I'm saying just worth of power in itself. Like, if we were to, like, the immediate power exchange release compared to the power that the souls can allow for spellcasting. So, if we can take a god, or if we can let certain individuals become gods and then trap them, hypothetically, what if we can just maybe use the Emperor as a battery?
Yeah.
At his height, Vecna had 10,000 followers. Over all time, like people that are theoretically in Vecna's domain in heaven, he had 199,475.
So if we could put all of those, if we offer a promise that if they fight for us, we would at least consider letting him back.
I don't know if they'd take a will consider it.
They might take that from Merkul over Gond.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I don't think a lot of people trust Merkul, though.
No.
Also,
No, but-
you're not building it. I would be, and they'd have to make sure that I'm actually... I think the thing is they kind of have to take us at our word, and I don't think that they really like other people.
No, they like dead people. And Merkul is the best way to create a lot of death. I'm just saying, we can
How many
consider...
souls do we have?
We've, 210?
No, we have
1,103
Yeah, I was gonna say,
last I checked.
Damn. Oh, right, I forgot that we got the whole canisters up. Right. I'm just saying, we shouldn't
So we
totally
get-
count out Vecna. Every god is a god.
So we
in
get
our favor.
9,000 more bodies.
We are not
Yeah, that's-
sacrificing the kids.
We get 9,000 more bodies and more souls.
I mean, if we
Oh
can
yeah,
pull
that's
them, I mean, I'd like to see Bastion ascend to godhood.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure that I can probably ask Gon to lend me some followers. I mean, I could probably do it.
Yeah.
I have work to do though, so I don't really have time to think about that right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
You
just
could literally
my
build your own
feelings.
power.
I'm just saying we shouldn't count out those who we do not consider the average god.
Do you want me to send you the Holy Allies chart again?
The
I mean, I've
Yogi
got it,
Bear
but
of gods.
yeah. I know we're currently like on that different divide of who's okay with soul stealing, who's not, who's against Pelor and everything.
Yeah. And even if they're against soul stealing, if they have power in Golgari, the most powerful city in the world, they might be on the fence.
Yeah, so I think we start with the. I mean, what do you guys think? Do we start with the gods that are strongest but least likely to help us, or do we start with those who might be weaker but easier to get on our side?
If we start with the ones that are least likely to join us, how are we going to try to convince them? Because if we're revealing any tidbits of information about any kind of plan that we came up with, it's just going to get used against us.
We don't need a plan.
So
We just
I
need
say we,
information. We don't need to tell them
yeah,
what we're going to do. We can just say, hey, here is just the state of things. Here's the realistic state. Here's where we stand.
yeah. There's magic ways around that.
I mean,
But
worst case scenario,
I say
we know that one spell. If you guys want, I can go talk to people and we can have any sort of strategic information removed from my mind. And then I'll forget that it was removed.
or we could just talk to the ones that are more than likely to ally with us, and then go for the ones that are least likely. Because if we have more allies, they're more likely to join us.
But always remember, the more allies we have, the more likely others won't join because they don't like said ally. There's no way we get a full sweep of the gods.
Right. But they'd be less likely to go against us if we have more numbers.
I think we also should try talking to the Maw cultists. I mean, may as well ally with them and take down Pelor, and then once Pelor is a bit more
How do we
beaten
know the
down,
Maw's
release
not
him.
God?
Well, they're cultists.
How do we know the
that
Maw's
worship it,
not
yeah.
part of God? And we're
We
talking
don't.
to people who worship him. We should just kill him.
Well, I mean, we may as well use them to smack down Pelor. Once Pelor is weakened, he might ally with us because he's not as strong. And then we use the remnants of his followers to kill them all. Plus, maybe the Maw isn't what we think it is.
If the Maw is a god, then if it has no followers, it has no power.
I mean, it already has power regardless. It's coming.
It's kind of a universal sort of thing, like gravity.
Yeah. Well, gravity isn't real; it's just magic.
Is gravity
that's
real?
thing.
Is gravity real? And I start flying.
Oh God!
That's yes, that's the reason why you're able to fly how you are.
All the Thunderscremians in the breakfast room stare at you with, "Don't stop."
Just wings.
They don't say anything, but they look at you in a... Luckily, the ceiling's pretty tall in here because it's built for giants to be able to enter, but...
Don't look at me. Don't look at me in that tone of voice.
Henry keeps looking at you in that tone of voice.
I'll go back now.
Okay.
Wait for you.
I'm just like, hey,
Only for you.
Henry, I know you're not like this isn't like a religious area, but is there anywhere that I could find some, various cultists and things? That's what I'm doing. I'm going to be focusing on the religious side. I'll do any of the assassinations or fights you guys want me to do, but I'm focusing on the religion and God side.
Henry says, "In Thunderscrum, no, there better not be any cultists in here, other than you."
We're an organized religion with sets of ideals.
Uh-huh. By the way, hey, Bastion.
Yeah.
Can you leave the lung heart thing here? Because I have a doctor coming by to come look at it.
Oh yeah, sure. Here, let me grab it real quick.
Cool.
Just lay out the
Thank you.
whole circulatory system.
Yeah, and he looks at it on the table, just looking at the gravity, and certainty of the commitment he's about to make.
Look, it's just an extra heart and lungs. It's no big deal.
Yeah.
I don't even have those.
Yeah.
And look at me.
Yeah, you're doing pretty well for having no organs at all.
I'm the oldest thing on this plane.
That's...
By like a long shot.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anyways, just walk away, still bridle carrying pails, so he doesn't fucking pass out.
Yeah.
I'm fine, damn it.
Is there anything you guys want to do before you get to the dungeon? Because they would let you walk down there.
Nah. Can't
Okay.
trying to free my mans.
Okay. Yeah, you guys walk down into the dungeon. You have the clearance medals. You tell them, hey, King Henry's cool with us doing this. That and Pale, you're not really a threat right now. But you walk down into the, or I would say actually, Wade would go with you to answer questions that the other guards are going to have. Because typically they do not let people just into the, interrogation rooms and holding cells and stuff. Especially not the ones that are designed for magic users to keep them inert. Because, there's regular prison cells for, random people, but then it's we have a couple for just magic people that try to, try to start stuff. And...
Rude.
But Wade would be... Yeah, they're allowed to come in here to talk to the guy. And on your way down, you hear yelling. You hear some screams of, don't fucking touch me. I'm not trying to escape. I'm just claustrophobic. I'm sorry, don't touch me. In a British accent. And you may realize upon, Wade jogging over that they're in an interrogation room, and you can look through a window. And apparently somebody handcuffed Ash to a chair before they woke him up, and he's broken his wrist, and is now having a panic attack in the corner after, escaping from the restraints. And people are trying to get him to not. But they haven't shot him yet, which is incredible.
Hey,
And it's mostly
buddy.
just, I also wish that I wasn't doing this. I'm sorry, I'm just claustrophobic. Just that intertwined with sobs and panting as he's standing in a corner.
Hey, buddy.
I'd hold Pale to him, but the up. You know how people hold cats sometimes, with their hands under their arms.
Yeah.
I'd hold Pale up to him like that.
Yeah. Immediately seeing through the window, it's a big sigh of relief, and Wade talks to the blackguard captain who's in here, who was in charge of interrogation. Victor's also here.
Of course
And
he
it's
is.
It's Victor is holding a gun in the interrogation room, pointed at Ash's head. And you don't know why he's pulled the trigger yet, mostly because Ash is a contingency, and he doesn't want to lose the, blackmail or whatever he has on you. Not blackmail. Fucking hostage. That's what it is.
Average.
And so Wade gets them to open the door and let you go calm your mans down. Yeah, he's still wearing the goddamn pants. They've taken off his trench coat because it's enchanted. And so he's just shirtless, emaciated, covered in bruises you don't know from where. But he had those bruises earlier, I should add. And yeah, just holding his broken wrist, and then also one hand still handcuffed to the chair. Sobbing and whispering, don't touch me.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
Hi, Pale.
Hey, guys. He's a prisoner, not a fucking active terrorist. You know that, right? Vic.
It's just I am kind of a terrorist, honestly. I haven't done that in a while, but that is a thing I used to be.
Your fault. Vic, why do you have the gun out? Respectfully.
A 20th level magic user just broke out of restraints. He could, with a word, kill us. You ever heard of the spell Power Word Kill? If he starts mumbling it, I'm gonna shoot him in the fucking head.
Ash, are you gonna do that?
No.
Ash, do you like being touched by random strangers?
I'm incredibly claustrophobic, no.
Vic, do you understand the idea of fear?
I do. I have an intense fear of magic users. Especially magic users who are blatant murderers, mass murderers, serial killers, that are trying to kill every single person on Earth.
Fair enough, but also, just because he is a magic user you don't like who's on those things, let's not forget that one of your closest buddies that you helped kill a god with is also that, technically speaking.
The difference is I trust August.
Touche. I mean, the goal is for you to grow, for you to trust my buddy here, eventually.
And Ash would again say, I'm not trying to escape. I just panicked. I'm sorry.
He's just...
I'm in fact still actively panicking. I also wish I wasn't doing this.
He's just a little guy. And I say that understanding that he is one of the most powerful beings here, along with the God Killers.
I have to say, I'm like top 100 most powerful people on the planet, but okay.
Yeah. With that taken into consideration, a little extremely powerful guy.
Yeah. Eventually, after having this, like, fucking standoff, they're not going to shoot him again, because Ash is actively not trying anything. It's eventually what they're going to do, because the anti-magic handcuffs, they put Ash in those and then regular handcuffs, and he freaked out. And he's not going to stop freaking out. And so their plan is, eventually, once you guys have this standoff and consult King Henry and the Blackguard Captain, General Guy, and whatever, they eventually are going to come up with... August is going to cast the spell Geas, Geas, on Ash a lot, to basically force him to do what they don't, because the use of magic is justified by the clause Thunderscram has of if you're opposing a magic user, for example, in self-defense or trying to arrest them or keep them in legal custody, it is permitted to use magic equal in power to the hostile person's magic. So it's legal and acceptable to use magic as part of his parole. He's a 9th level spellcaster. They can have August cast 9th level spells on him. I actually just earlier wrote up exactly what those spells are going to be, and I'm going to copy and paste them into the chat.
I was going to say, you guys at least let him know what you're going to do. He's not going to undo it. He's not going to stop it. Give him a heads up so he doesn't feel like he's at a total powerlessness.
No, I'm okay with whatever rules. I am here to help as long as you don't put me in handcuffs again, please, for the love of God. Let me copy and paste these really quick, because they may be important later. Oh, fucking message is too long again. God damn it. Yeah, my eternal struggle.
We've all been there.
Yeah. Okay, it's uploading it as a text file. It's a Geas spells cast on Ash. Each tab is a separate casting, so 8 total, cast by August, DC 30. At 9th level, so they last until they are ended. Each include the sub-order below that is in brackets. You cannot, to the best of your ability, allow anyone to remove these castings of Geas on you or do anything else that would force you to break these commands. You are to notify King Henry of any loopholes known to you and allow them to be corrected. Should any of these separate castings be removed in any way, you are to notify King Henry and allow them to be recast. Number 1, you cannot harm or kill a sentient being in any case other than self-defense. 2, you cannot deliberately break any laws. 3, you cannot use magic or magic items of any sort without King Henry's permission. 4, you cannot carry weapons of any sort, even improvised, without King Henry's permission. In cases of self-defense, you may acquire a weapon, but must then relinquish it once the threat has been neutralized. 5, you cannot leave the castle except for in cases of life-threatening emergency, for example, a fire, or if given permission by King Henry. 6, you must operate under the conditions of Zone of Truth in all communication unless King Henry gives you a specific exception. Believe we're on 7, you cannot communicate with anyone outside of face-to-face, for example, but not limited to by mail or magic without King Henry's permission. 8, you must take medication and attend therapy administered to you by August, earnestly attempting to improve yourself mentally to the best of your ability. He's going to be given permission to wear his trench coat because it's, like, security blanket or whatever. But he cannot activate it, only use its latent effects. August going to give him a great deal of anxiety medication, because he fucking broke his wrist in panic. They're also going to fix that. He's allowed to communicate with the Bacadian rejects by any means. He's allowed to communicate with his children and his butler Grovdren, but only on matters concerning the welfare of his children and personal employees. Should anyone that is not already approved from outside Thunderscram government contact him, he's to notify King Henry as soon as possible and refrain from reading any written correspondence until it has been approved for him to read. So there.
Got it. So he's got a lot going on.
Yes. And while he's not allowed to leave, no matter what, they are going to request that he help them with intel and strategy against enemies that he's, spent his entire life trying to kill. But that's not required. That's a volunteer thing.
Well, he does love his community service.
Yes. Yes. But eventually, by end of day, Ash will be allowed to walk around the castle, probably watched constantly by, a guard or two. But he's okay with that.
It's not going to be locked up and not going to be at odds, so...
Yeah, not happy about it, but it's okay. It could be a lot worse.
I'll just tell him the same way, hey, listen, it's temporary, and eventually we're going to get to the point where you're going to be good to go.
Right. That's honestly, I'm not even sure I'd even want to go home right now. I'm not really...
Not even home. Just, space where you feel more emotionally able to do whatever you want.
I mean, I've never been okay, but we'll get there, I suppose. Later.
Be okay, bud. Anyway, I'm gonna ask Bastion, the oldest being in existence, to carry him upstairs before I die, because, no offense, Vic, I'm not gonna give you the satisfaction of seeing me die in front of you. Yet.
Yeah. They would also put Ash in semi-house arrest in one of the apartments in the Paperclip Labs, just because that area is already surveyed.
Hey, Vic, by the way, any rules against him cuddling? That's what I thought. Bastion, let's go upstairs.
What you do on your personal time is none of my business. But that is disgusting. Go ahead.
And then, I'm just going to ask Bastion to carry me upstairs and not just drop me on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put him back in a bridal carry. Just carry him up the stairs.
Ash and whoever his assigned guards are currently to walk him around places, they would all go to the Paperclip Labs, where you'd see Dennis, Margaret, and Jasmine explaining, because earlier King Henry was make up a lie to explain the massive amounts of dark magic of briefly summoning Merkul and then using Soon Tears, because they expected a spike when you resurrected a man, but not one that big. And so he's like, hey, Dennis, Margaret, make up an experiment you were doing in the woods to not freak out Border Patrol. And so they're explaining the pretend experiment they did to...
Yeah, nice.
Just, oh yeah, that was a separate thing from... They resurrected Ash. We had nothing to do with that. And the Forgeborn kids are also here, and Kimmer is here also.
But yeah, that child that we just
The child.
have.
Oh, we stole a child.
I mean, is it stealing if he's an orphan?
You rescued him.
We kidnapped him.
Who'd we steal him from?
The clutches of death.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
Except that we got the champion of death.
No, he belongs to the Raven Queen. I'm not champion of death. I'm the champion of the apocalypse. I want all of you to die, including myself. Not yet.
Ash just kind of numbly nods as he awkwardly stands in the room looking at the science lab.
I have to work on my pitch, huh?
No, I mean, it's accurate, but public speaking, I'll have to coach you on a bit.
Yeah, I'm not good at
Or I can do it
words.
for you, also.
Ooh, yeah, you can be the, God, I was going to
Bootsman.
say Aaron to my, Moses, but that doesn't exist. You can be the Stephen to my father Michael.
I mean, I believe I'd actually be Father Michael, because, you don't know much. I'm kind of the plan guy. No offense. Listen, I'm not all here right now.
No, you can just stop it. You don't know much. You're right. I really don't. I kind of tripped backwards in all of this.
At this very moment, I'm actually not going to be good at public speaking. Sorry.
You're still getting better than cough up a bit of, black blood. Me.
Yes. With
Ignore that.
what you're going through, I recommend black tea and a hot bath. Just as someone who's done that over and over. And he looks down,
It's not good for your health.
still shirtless, and he's like, "Oh, my scars are gone. That's wild. And my ear's still even pierced." And he, like, pokes his ears. And so, man, my drug and alcohol, tolerance can be completely different.
Yeah, you're just completely... Nope. I almost said a phrase. You no longer have any piercings or anything.
He laughs a bit maniacally, and he's like, "My word, am I a fucking virgin again? That's hilarious." Does that count? I may very well have to be rebaptized before I go back into the sanctum.
Let me just put it this way. You might even be... you no longer have the feelings. You might be... I think the term for you would be unpruned.
But certainly I'm not going to flay myself alive again. I never have to cut all the skin off my body. That's incredible. I'm really excited about it.
Not what I meant, but it'll come to you, don't worry. Anyway, and then Pale's just gonna go and fall into his room, get into a bathtub, and pass out.
Okay. What did the other two of you do?
I'm letting Pale have his fun.
Okay. It's Dennis is going to find... Or actually, Garfield, who's also here. I forgot about that. When he and Ash, you know the meme of the JoJo pose of when they both stare at each other and it's like a really wonky, intense angle. Do you guys know the meme that I'm? It's there's two men with very what is that? Extreme aesthetics, and for once in his entire fucking life, this is a motion of supreme kindness from Garfield and care. He finds Ash some normal clothes. And, yeah, what's Garfield wearing today?
Garfield finds Ash some normal clothes?
Yes. And
What the
Garfield's
fuck?
wearing an entire white suit, as though he's going to prom, the jacket with, like, the tails or whatever. Yes, Dio and Jotaro, yes. Garfield, in a motion of supreme care and empathy, finds Ash some normal clothes. He's like, "Oh, you mostly wear black, right? Okay." And while Ash appreciates the goddamn pants, he's probably gonna have them put in a shadow box in his house when this is all over. It's like a relic. It's like a relic or an artifact of these pants were made by the champion of God.
Yeah.
But he probably won't wear them again. They're not really his style. So the man's wearing all black in his trench coat, sitting on a couch, kind of staring at the wall, while the anxiety meds that August gave him are taking effect. As I believe I've mentioned this before, but it's been a while, as August built a bunch of mental hospitals, because he's a champion of soon, and he focused more on inner beauty than outer, because that's just how it is.
That's nice.
Yeah.
What a good noodle.
Uh-huh. But it is evening. What do you guys do?
Pale's just passed out in his room, in the tub.
I'm
Yeah, I
making
think
sure he
I'll-
doesn't drown.
Yeah, I think I'll leave Pale in the care of Carolina.
Okay.
I'm gonna go visit my kids and then start on the great project.
Yeah,
that
they...
is making an entire civilization.
Mm-hmm. They would have, during this day of just hanging out in the lab, they and Garfield would have created another body. So there is 21 now, I believe.
Fuck, I didn't come up with a naming scheme.
Yeah, you've got to get a
For
name
what?
generator for all the...
Just name them after our enemies. That way, if we say that we already have them on our side, we're telling the truth. We have Pelor, Vecna, and Luz all on our side. How could you stand against us? Insight check. They're telling the truth. Technicality. It's their robot child.
Zone of Truth.
Yeah, accurate.
Uh-huh.
Who's gonna ask which Vecna? Is there
Right.
Vecna Smith down the street? No.
Oh my fucking god.
Boom.
He's not wrong.
I am the king of technicalities and bullshit. Or just, give them normal names so we don't scar them for life. Guess.
So they don't get bullied in elementary school.
Give him a normal middle name.
Are they going to be going to public school? Are we sending the giant metal children to public school?
That's what Henry intended, but you don't have to.
Give them normal middle names.
Yeah, then they can go by the middle name. So like Vecna Peter. Gosh, what's your last name?
Son
I
of
was
God.
never given one. Yeah.
It's like Johnson. Gondson.
I mean, technically, I don't think I was ever given one.
Son of God.
Yeah.
Son.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, I think now it's just Patriarch Citadel though. Or I guess I don't think I have like a last like Gond or Merkul don't have last names.
No, his name is Merkul. What do you mean?
It's one word.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Wait, did you not know that?
I always thought his name was last name Cool. His last name was just Kul.
No. It's one word.
I'm pretty sure there's an H in there.
It's Ash makes an insight check and luckily knows you're kidding. Unless you're choosing to not.
Oh no, I'm kidding. I am.
Okay.
It's just more fun that way. It's more cool.
Yeah. He looked up from the couch sardonically and then went back to laying on the couch.
Yep. Oh, wait, I'm not even there. Right.
Oh, yeah. Whatever.
I'm passed down in the bed.
At some
Parts
point
of
when
the
you're
clothes.
having this conversation. No, sorry.
Yeah. And no, I'm sorry. I forgot that I left.
No, it's fine.
LOL.
Oh, it's a penis joke, unpruned. Oh, okay.
That was just going to be a little side.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
You would hear the news that first thing in the morning, Henry is going to announce the war. They have finally gotten a good enough draft of Eli Locke's intel and then the Pelor Stealing Souls summary deal. But he's going to give a speech and he's very nervous because he's afraid he's going to get shot on stage. But he's always afraid of that, so... yeah, but there's just... word on the street...
So I'll be close by.
Okay. And you guys don't have to be there if you don't want to listen to Henry give a speech. If you want, the transcript is going to be in their newspaper. There you go.
I'm not going just because I don't need him to get more flack from Mercurians being around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll go just to make sure he doesn't get shot.
Good
Okay.
call.
Before we do that, is there anything you guys would have done in the middle of the night other than helping the children and Garfield build more bodies?
I don't. I think I can't tell if this is too generic or not, but I think the naming scheme I'm wanting to run with is just literally doing like 1, 2, like they're not named that.
Yeah.
But like, do you know like in the Clone Wars how they all have like designations?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it'd be something like that, and they just pick their name,
Okay.
whatever they're good at.
Carolina, how about you?
Just making sure Pale didn't drown.
Okay. Yeah.
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, kind of first thing in the morning is, you're allowed to be late to work if you are listening to the public service announcement. So, 50 to 60% of Thunderground's population works for the state, so a lot of them are there. Probably about 10,000 people gather at the castle gates. They have what's called Stones of Loud Speech, stuck around. It's like a Stone of Far Speech, but instead it just makes Henry loud. So it's, magic microphone.
Magic speech.
2 turntables and a microphone. But eventually, King Henry will stand on a stage, his frail fucking ass. And then Carolina, you said you'd be close by?
About 6 paces behind him. Cloak.
Okay. Are you trying to be on stage or just next to it?
if the stage is big enough, I'll be behind him, all covered up, so nobody just immediately recognizes who I am.
Okay. How about you, Bastion?
I think I'll literally be standing like the opposite side, but closer to him.
Okay. Yeah.
Like not crowding him on the podium, obviously, but very much like I will straight up stand in front of. So like I'll take the bullet.
Yeah. And Wade is doing similar. And then Queen Marceline is not here because if they're gonna get like a grenade thrown at them, they don't want them to both be killed. That's just standard procedure because Henry's been assassinated 6 times. And then Victor is also close by, just openly fucking holding a sniper rifle at the low ready. That's just business. You can assume that in addition to the several Thunderscrim guards, and then there are police among the crowd, there's probably also snipers to take out any enemy snipers. It's a big deal when Henry goes into public because people try to kill him constantly. And so eventually gets on the podium. The mandatory feedback from the Stones of Loud Speech for whatever. But it's, I stand before you today to confirm the allegations that we directly acted to assist the rebels in Stone Garden. This was done because their cause was righteous, and it directly aligned with actions that our kingdom has been planning to take for several years now. Since our nation's conception, the forces of Golgari and other ruling bodies across Macadia have actively sought to destroy this kingdom every day, every hour, because the celestial parasites they serve and the wizards who live to manipulate the world cannot stand the idea of a people not living under their thumb. We have reached a point where their aggression and subterfuge cannot be ignored any longer, and where we have the opportunity, ability, and a spark to get started. Those 2 of you who are there, make me perception checks to find anybody who's sus.
Dodge.
Uh-huh.
You're no longer gonna roll
See
20.
Baka.
Sorry.
30.
Ow.
A 30? Alright.
Damn.
Easy. I beat that.
Oh,
8.
okay. 8, cool.
Actually, 12.
Alright. Bastion, you don't notice much, but Carolina, you see several stern faces in the crowd, I would say. It's people who, don't, like, you know, a hate follow on Twitter? People came to this just to be angry. But King Henry continues. Before we even knew about Golgari's latest atrocities, because even without them, our resistance is justified, as I attended the Golgari High Council meeting to address the events of Stone Garden. I admitted our involvement, and in the faces of the leaders of every faction of this continent, on Thunderscrim's behalf, for the freedom of all people of Macadia, declared that we would be going to war to end this reign of terror. In the coming days, we will be distributing literature detailing our plan for what a post-war Macadia will look like, the parameters of conflict, including everything we'll be doing to preserve civilian life, our conditions for peace, and we will be exposing thus far unseen crimes done not only against Macadia's people, but against the universe as a whole, much of this uncovered with the help of Detective Eli Locke, the Macadian Rejects Adventuring Party. Most squarely, and the most compelling reason for this war, Pelorians and Golgari have been conducting light cleansing again in addition to their new practice of stealing unborn souls from the Ethereum Stone, using these souls to power magical weapons. These missing souls have been what is causing the plane-wide rise in stillbirths that started last year. The leaders of Golgari have been literally sacrificing infants for power. And the crowd, when he said, "We're going to war," I forgot to mention, there was a gasp made by 10,000 people. And then now when he says this, there's almost silence among 10,000 people. There's like a baby crying and somebody coughs like I just did. Henry also coughs. But everybody make me a perception check again.
Okay, how many people did I see first time?
Of people who just have flat, angry faces, probably like 100 that you noticed.
Okay. 25.
Okay.
10.
All right. Carolina, you see on like a second story building, like down the street or whatever, there is somebody moving on top of the building.
I tell Vic to look in that direction.
He mumbles to a guy, and then that specific guy runs off, and you see them speaking to a Stone of Far speech. And with your 25, you'd see people way over in that area start to move toward the building to go check out whatever that is. Because it could just be somebody watching from the roof, but it could also be a fucking sniper on the roof.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what kind of scope he's got on his sniper rifle, but
yeah, it's he's probably not going to look from here. He has people for that. Whenever you see Victor with guards, assume that there's 10 more you can't see.
Oh, I see them.
Well, yeah, you might. Yeah. You'd probably notice a Thunderscram sniper or one of Jaegeren's top men. Luckily, you see their badges and know they're official, but from some other position watching over the crowd, you notice a sniper that you didn't notice was there before, but it was on your team, and that guy's probably looking over at the person on the roof and seeing what their deal is.
Yeah, my passive's at 27.
Okay. God damn, you're passive?
Yes.
Fucking okay.
Mine is 14.
Holy shit. Yeah, but again, King Henry continues. The Mercadian rejects have recovered a great number of these souls, with many more to track down and rescue, and have devised a way for us to shelter and rehabilitate them into society. It is our responsibility because they are going to be extraordinary children from the moment of their birth, and we are the only people we can trust to protect and raise these innocent victims of Pelor's never-ending hunger for power. The details about these children and the plan for them will be explained soon in a series of public addresses. And he would, kind of glance at you, Bastion, of we need to figure out the details of this. But then, continue. In all of our existence, our only demand of our neighbors is that they leave us alone. But from all the way across the continent, from their far high council seats, the minions of celestial parasites look upon us with absolute hatred, the greatest danger to their web of lies. Be with a god in your grave if you wish. Walk with them in your life if you must. Learn some cantrips if they'll help you. But the wizards of Stone Garden only sought to lead because it gave them even broader power than they already had. The theocracy of Golgari does not serve their people. They serve gods who do not care what you suffer in life, but only how many sheep they can herd into the afterlife. Their leaders were not chosen to serve and protect them, they were chosen because they knew they'd build a bigger temple. When a mage is in power, their only concern is going to be lining their pockets so they can line a spellbook to bend the world to their will. And they would have every person on Earth beneath them, and they demand to reduce us to the same here. No matter how cruel, evil, and selfish my forefathers were, no matter how many lives they took through negligence, greed, and sociopathic cruelty, my forefathers could break our citizens' spirits, but they could never take our citizens' souls. The tyrants of the South can. Thunderscram knows tyranny, but Thunderscram also knows exactly how to get rid of it. We have been able to change. Make another perception check, everybody who's there.
Well, that one's pretty shitty. 19.
Okay.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah?
16.
Okay.
Actually, close.
You would see that one of the Blackguard or one of Lord Eagern's top men, you're not sure from this distance, somebody else who's got a official-looking posture from what you can see from here. They're mostly just a figure cloaked in black, so that's why you're not sure if it's a uniform or just rogue outfit. But they are now standing with the person who was on the roof. You can assume it was just a random person on the roof. Because they haven't been shot, But again, Henry continues. This is a long speech, I apologize.
No, it's all good.
Okay. We now export food instead of starving while my grandfathers gorged themselves on mithril plates. 75% of Thundersgramians can read, which is the highest rate in the world. We have 117 citizens who are considered homeless, and that is because they're weirdos who choose to live in tents in the woods. We invented vaccines and completely eradicated 2 plagues on our borders. Our infant mortality rate is 12 in 1,000. A mere 7% of our 860,000 people live in poverty, and the number literally goes down by the month. Since most of you are educated to understand those numbers, a unique majority, I will compare us to Golgari. 1/5 of Golgari's treasury is dedicated to maintaining temples, mage laboratories, and conducting holy ceremony. They have over 200 people die of starvation or polluted water a day. 15% of Golgarians can read, and of their 1 million, over 11,000 people are homeless, 200,000 live in shacks made of literal garbage, and disease is everywhere. Those who could heal with a touch refuse to save a common person's life unless they sell their soul to their patrons. Demons literally do the same commerce. 80 of 1,000 infants do not survive birth, and even if they do, nearly half of the people living in Golgari don't live past 45, and that average includes dwarves and elves and other long-lived folk. But I did not say those statistics to tell you how amazing all of you are, the people who have labored their entire lives to make those changes. But I say this to you to paint a picture of how unique a position we are in. Perception checks yet again.
18.
Okay.
This is the one.
This is the one.
Ooh, 16.
Okay. Carolina, you would see that nearby to you, somebody, when King Henry's mentioning how evil his grandfather was, and great-great-grandfathers and you see somebody clenching their fist and pulling out what's essentially a big stick, but then their neighbors, seeing how much security they have at a war declaration, they stop him. But you notice there's actively someone who's in the crowd and wants to kick the shit out of King Henry, if not kill him. But his stupid friends, who also presumably want to kill King Henry but are smarter than this one, have stopped them. Thunderscrum overcame tyranny because you, the citizens, united and had the power to make my grandfather step down and inspired my father and I to change the way we do everything. The South has no such power. They cannot resist the living hell that is living under a tyrant because they will live in hell for eternity if they so much as question the laws supposedly ordained by a god. A factory worker can't protest the tax that takes the bread from his mouth when they'll arrest him and force him to work to starvation if he does. A shopkeeper can't resist robbers who change their very memories so they forget the theft. A mother cannot raise her children when runoff from magical experiments poisons her and leaves them orphaned. Those orphans will starve in the street because the government cares more about holy incense than their lives. They demand their worship so they have the privilege of dying in the street instead of being smited outright. They demand their lives so a wizard can write down how interesting their death was. And they want to force those same exact conditions to every one of us here. You all could easily replace me if I gave you the reason to do so. But the South knows no other way. They have no other hope. Their people do not fight back, not because they're cowards or because they're weak, but because they don't realize it's possible. How long can we look to the South and watch them suffer? How long can we sit back, judging their leaders for not helping them when we also have the power to help and don't? How long until those who know we see through them come for us even more outright than they already have? The theocracy and magocracy of the South hold their people in siege, but they will hold it no longer. Thunderscrum has declared war on Golgari for their neglect, crimes against all peoples of the material plane, and the rest of the dimension. They will free their people, or we will do that for them. We will arm ourselves, we will arm Mercadia, we will teach them what it means to stand. We will teach their leaders how to serve and not be served. The only way they may subjugate us and extend their atrocities to our borders is when they pry our sovereignty and freedom from our cold, dead hands. For our people, for Thunderscrum, and for Mercadia. And there is one patriot among the crowd who yells the city's motto, "Fuck around!" and several thousand voices cry, "Find out."
Yeah.
And Henry quickly walks off stage and starts vomiting blood behind the stage where no one can see him. Everybody make one final perception check.
Take these. 18. Oh, but 22.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I finally got rid of that butterfly.
Butterfly?
Yeah, it was distracting me.
Oh, I see. I see the squirrel as well.
I got a 13.
Okay, Bastion, since you're standing, I guess, in front and Carolina, you're probably still watching the guy on the roof. Somebody does have a pistol and runs towards the stage. They don't look Thunderscremian. They're in elfin robes. Actually, they have a wand. I'll specify.
Can I just fly and sock them in the goddamn stomach?
Yeah, roll an attack.
Oh, you fucking idiot! You really messed up now, huh? Oh, bud.
Yeah,
They
they just pull out a wand.
31 to hit this guy.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
It's a fucking commoner, man.
No, it looks like a wizard.
That's a commoner.
Hope you casted your mage armor, bud.
Yeah, they cast shield, but you have a 31. So from the front of the stage, as this person tries to push through the crowd with a wand in their hand, Bastion, you fly up into the air, and then as you're coming down, people scream and run away from you, but then you fucking obliterate this wizard. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, uh-oh. Oh, goodbye, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
This is at least an 18. 33.
Yeah, in a singular punch, you knock him to the ground. You could, with a singular other punch, kill him, or you could try to have him arrested. What do you want to do?
Can I just put my foot on his chest? Is he unconscious? Is he unconscious? For sure?
No, it's... I would say... when you get punched in the nuts? I don't know what that's like. But imagine that, times, 20. You just took 30 of his 40 hit points. That was, the biggest hit he's ever taken. It's like getting hit by a car.
You got the wind
Anytime...
I could have killed that guy.
Yes, you could have.
Oh, man.
So when you put your foot on his chest, you know that if you lean forward, you'll crush his ribs. You can assume that this was one wizard who tried to be a hero and made a poor decision, because probably, I don't know, a quarter of the crowd, upon seeing that someone tried to assassinate the king, this is the quarter of the crowd that is patriotic and also has a gun. And so a lot of people are circling this guy. And then you probably see faces in the crowd who wish that they could help this guy also kill King Henry, but they're cowards at this moment.
Yeah, can I put my foot down enough to where, an audible crack of his ribs would be heard, and then just look around and then go, fuck, I don't have a one-liner. Bash, oh, shit, my 8 charisma.
About to say it's
Anybody
coming in to
else,
get you.
Something cool.
Something cool.
Anybody else want to limp?
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, I think I would just...
I'm gonna hit you so hard your
I'll
patrons
crack
feel
his
it.
ribs, and then I'll just look around and scan for anyone else.
Is there no
Yeah,
one?
the Red Guard and Secret Service combination force would run over and put this guy in anti-magic handcuffs and break his wand in half or whatever and haul him off, and probably one of them shakes your hands. They've been notified that you're on the team or whatever.
I'm eyeballing the one that had the stick.
Oh, and at some point, Bastion, they would have given you one of the clearance medals. That probably happened last night when you gave Henry the fake lungs for the doctor to look at. Just by the way. But
oh, nice. Yeah, I can be in the city legally now.
yeah, or just you can go about the castle freely. You can't go into people's bedrooms, but you can go into the records archive.
Yeah.
You can go into the library.
I think I'd have just do the same thing I did with the friendship medal and just stick it into my armor.
Cool.
Integrate it.
Yeah, but Carolina, the guy with the stick, you cannot see. They have moved away. Despite their desires, they don't want to be caught with the guy who just got caught. Because it's not illegal to protest, and it's, you have freedom of speech, and there's an entire newspaper dedicated to criticize the government because the government has its own newspaper. So really you only have those two options of pro-government, anti-government news. And so you're allowed to hate the king. You just can't actually try and kill him. And Henry's doing enough of that on his own. As the Secret Service ushers him back to where he's not gonna probably be shot. This is normal for them to have to arrest at least one person. And it's the rabble is probably going to cause some chaos as this news of we're going to war and Golgri's done some fucking whack shit recently, because Thunderscrim's never been to war before in the 1,387 years of their existence. So, yeah.
I think Bastion's sitting there, like standing there, like with his arms crossed, looking at the crowd. And then I think he like nudges like someone next to him. And he's like, "Do you think it like was not saying anything like the right thing to do? Like I feel like it would have been cooler if I had just been like, I wouldn't try that again. But like I don't think he could have responded because his ribs were cracked."
Roll a D100 to see who's standing next to you.
87.
It's
Random villager for 87.
what?
I said random villager number 87.
Yeah,
No,
this is my guy. This is the goat, dude.
It's one of the blackguard. They're a half giant, but they're pretty short.
Mhm.
It's probably like 8 feet tall, and they just nod to you of. I think it was cool that you didn't say anything. It's like the strong and silent type of like.
Yeah.
You're just here as the immovable force. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking too. But it was, I don't know. I feel like people
The
don't
silent
say
watcher.
something during that. Yeah. Like it's a sort of actions speak louder than words thing.
Absolutely. And maybe
Alright.
people be like, "Oh man, who is that guy? He just like decked a wizard with one hit. That's terrifying." But like, we're what is that? A combat prowess is like a virtue here. So like you could do like dueling to the death is illegal and everything, but like and I'm not saying you should that came out weird. I also am not good at talking. That's why I'm yeah, anyway. You found a brother who gets it. But he's like, yeah, you could like go to one of the you could go to one of the bars and like do like the hand-to-hand MMA stuff they do. Like people bet for money. If you could just deck someone, probably don't break their ribs though when you're fighting for like sport.
I don't think it'd be very fair for a champion to go around fist fighting people, but I appreciate the vote of confidence. I thanks for the help.
No, I think you could definitely beat some ass. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll give him a thumbs up and then I'll just walk away.
Yeah. He's probably going to stay having people disseminate the crowd. But yeah, eventually Henry stops fucking coughing.
Good. I was gonna say good for him, I guess.
Yeah, and Wade's like, "Hey, that was great, Henry." And Henry's like, "I'm just glad someone didn't shoot me. I've been having nightmares if they're gonna say you're a tyrant too and storm the stage and kill me. I know they're gonna meet up in a tavern later and plot this." And Wade's like, "Only the ones who were doing this before. What if people don't want to go to war? We haven't seen the fucking horror. Like, the first casualties that come back. We've never been to war, but we've been wishing a motherfucker would for 1,000 years. The people want this." And they just have a conversation of Henry second-guessing everything. And Wade's like, "Buddy, you're fine. Everything's gonna be okay."
He's just a little anxious.
Yeah, if anyone tries fucking with you, we'll just kill him.
And then bring him back and kill him.
Yeah, I mean, we could, like, we're at the point where we can really do fucked up shit to people. Like, we could put him in a soul torture device. Like we
can commit war crimes on a massive scale by ourselves.
No.
Yeah, we're forces of nature at this point. If anyone fucks
Honestly,
with you, we'll just beat them to death. I
Yeah.
was gonna kill that guy earlier.
I'm
but I
okay
figured
with you
that'd be
beating them
kinda
to death. Don't do the soul torture thing.
No, it's okay. Not soul torture, just physical.
Oh no, yeah, that was we didn't mean that. That was just
torture is also illegal. Just
We won't be
that
in
was
city
the thing
grounds.
my dad, Champion Infilmator, did.
We won't be in city grounds though, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's a good thing that we've never tortured someone ever.
No.
Right.
No. Honestly, when I worshipped Tyr, I was a worse person than I am now.
True story.
Yeah.
Like,
That's-
legitimately.
That's good.
Really? Okay, that's a problem,
it's
but
good that you've gotten better.
Oh yeah, that's fair, yeah.
You guys have succeeded in distracting him from his panic attack. Congratulations.
Hooray!
Hell yeah.
That wasn't even my intention, but it worked.
We distracted him with our war crimes.
Let's
Yeah.
go. We distracted them by talking about how much we're gonna fucking murder people, and how we love doing that.
Yeah.
Wink.
Yeah. Am I gonna get drugged into the street and lynched 5 hours from now or 10? And Wade probably smacks the back of his neck. Calm down.
Hours.
I mean, again, like I said, we have no qualms with killing people. We do that all the time.
Thank you, guys. Coughs up a lot more blood, like a whole clot of it.
Did he say hours? Does he think he has multiple hours left? Or?
Oh my fucking god!
Don't tell him about the other guys. He'll freak out.
Yeah, no,
That's fine.
he will for sure. Yeah, but the speech is over. Henry is going to go take a break. They probably have some PR person answering more questions, and mostly the answer is all will be explained soon, because they're already handing out like the first edition of pamphlets, newsletter, whatever, of Eli Locke's thing. You know, headline is Stealing Souls, and then yeah, just everything, all the stuff that Eli Locke has been getting up. You know, like the tier church taking bribes or something, and then
Ooh.
yeah, Pelorian stealing souls, that kind of stuff. The Raven Queen allowing people to be resurrected that they wouldn't usually for favoritism or whatever, or making sure people they don't like stay dead even when they could reasonably be allowed to live otherwise. That sort of a deal. So what do you guys do? It is day 39 now, I believe. Pale, you're still very tired, but you've gotten rid of 1 point of exhaustion. You only have 4 now.
Yay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be taking it easy and just kind of starting to scout out. Like, would I be able to get a map of where different cultists and religious strongholds would be?
Given a chalkboard, Ash would draw you this map in like 20 minutes.
Nice. Yeah, that's my goal, is just to, like, plot out where I need to go to talk to, like, each of those gods you listed out and the Great Old One cultists and Vecna cultists.
Yeah, Ash would be happy to lore dump everything he knows about all of them. He probably even has, like, dirt on all of them. He is making a list of the...
Check me twice.
I think the very useful briefcase item I told you about that connects him to the... yeah, just it's like a fax machine. And so he's making lists of things that he wants to request for King Henry to approve and have, like, sent to him. Like, essentially, files on people, maps that they have, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, he's requesting more intel that he doesn't remember off the top of his head. And the man's hands are still kind of shaking, and he, like, flinches whenever anyone looks at him, but he is currently distracted by making notes for you, and would eventually just go on tangents telling you world history and politics.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just prepping that map and getting ready to take my little trip.
Okay.
I'm asking Henry for the details on the assassinations he mentioned.
Previous ones that you said?
Yes.
Henry would say, my very first memory is when I was four. No.
Not on him. The ones he once assassinated.
Oh! Okay, never mind.
Oh, that's also what I thought you meant.
He stops trauma dumping to you. Let me see. What details do you want? Because, like, about which one? Because he would tell you that assassinating the leaders in the cities they're going to go to first is the main priority. Like, there are the Provisional Council, like, they're gonna liberate Stone Garden first. So taking out people in the Provisional Council that's in Stone Garden right now, keeping it under martial law or whatever, that's gonna be what they want done first. But really anything to destabilize anyone, it's the mint, they're sort of, it's gonna kind of destabilize currency in Macadia. However, they're also the person in charge of war budget, I guess, that Golgari has. And so you're taking out the treasurer, basically.
Okay.
And then, let me read back on my... That was the wrong... Yeah, alright. Let me go through here. And then they need to find out where the soul-stealing factory, essentially, is, to stop that. Not even so much as a war effort, but because, A, it's just role. Well, B, also for the war effort, too, because what I'm getting at is you're gonna have to, like, kidnap somebody who's an important wizard, like the university president, or the, like, champion of Pelor, or Solinari and Nuatari, because they're also very likely involved. And so you probably are gonna have to kidnap somebody important and get that information from them, so you can then go put a stop to that. Also, the Thieves Guild is probably the people that are moving, A, weapons, B, stolen souls, and being messengers. And really, it's the council members of... There are some that you could take the peaceful option and convince them to surrender or whatever, because really what Henry wants to do is just restructure their government to give their people rights. I believe I've called it the Concordance of 1379, of he's going to make every town that they go to basically add this to their existing laws and restructure it to make it a democracy instead of a theocracy, if it is one. And I can send all that to you also. I don't remember what notes that is in, but I do have it. Because when the war really starts, he is going to have you guys, at the very, very least, ceremonially swear to it. And that's mostly what it is, when I find it eventually. But that's what he would say is the most important people to take out are the ones that are going to be in Stone Garden and then working your way south.
What about the wizard who's actually extracting the souls?
We are unaware of their identity, but there is probably a network of them, honestly.
Okay.
Really, the only intel they have on that guy is what they know from you. Because remember, King Henry learned about them stealing souls like 4 days ago.
Okay. So, Stone Garden is the starting point.
Yes.
Destabilize the war funds. Kill as many blue shields on the way.
And breaking up their supply lines.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Disrupt any communications I can on the way.
And there are several fairly powerful adventuring parties who will be attempting to disrupt our stuff. So,
I wonder if any of them were the ones that tried to fight me.
it's very possible.
Well, that ease my haw.
But if you kill what's his name, then he can't kill you to end your story.
No, yeah, I don't want to kill him. I want him to be the one to end that first. But yeah,
Okay.
makes it a little more zesty. A little bit of
How do you
spice.
manage to have so many enemies?
Oh, I finally found...
Because he tries to make so many friends.
That's my face, generally. Or do you mean in the game?
Another anti-Semitic or racist?
God. Hey, listen, people can be multifaceted. They're both. Yeah,
Here I have the cliff notes of Locke's things that you could annoy people with as you're trying to talk to them and convince them to be on your side. Here we go.
Number one, my mom said that if your mom drives us to war, she'll pick us up.
Yeah. Of, Solinari, parentheses, the university, amplifier experiments on prisoners and university students, brainwashing opponents, and extreme invasions of privacy, and I have to scroll over. Free will, huge corruption of justice, like manufacturing evidence, stealing evidence, charming judges and police.
Are these other crimes?
Yeah, this is stuff that Eli Locke has found as, like, proof of corruption. As he's been working as a detective, he's essentially fantasy Sherlock Holmes, like, he's that famous. Yeah. So this is stuff he's recorded, and he does have names for this, like specific names of people he knows are guilty of this.
All of these guys are just fucking cops.
I mean, a lot of it.
Well, what do you got against officers of the law?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
We love cops in this house, says the Matt's redacted job.
Which, granted, as a detective, this is a lot of what Eli's deal is law stuff. As a private investigator.
Nerd.
Said nerd?
The nerd.
No, I coughed.
Oh, okay,
I didn't call him a nerd.
Okay,
No.
alright, fine, sure.
Can't relate. I did.
Oh my god! Wow, that's so rude.
I'm gonna give Eli Locke a wedgie.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm gonna take his glasses.
I'm gonna deck him in the schnoz.
and at some point when Henry's done giving his speech or whatever, when the crowd is disseminated, they've prevented, there's currently no riot, they would get all of the strategery people in Thunderscrum, the army generals or whatever, somebody's secretary, Victor again. Because even though Victor's just the trade commissioner, he has inserted himself as almost a second military force in Thunderscrum. But then Queen Marceline is also here. There are a lot of guards in here that are probably, Ash literally can't do anything due to the geese spells, but just because they're going to be like, yeah, it's as though you're sitting in a room with a tiger is how these people feel. But he's going to, for several hours, explain the ending of Stone Garden, like where they have supplies and weapons hidden away, where certain people are supposed to have retreated to, names of people they need to get in contact with. He knows like all the strongholds that the Provisional Council has. Basically, he gives them the summary of everything that happened and where everything still is. Just a great deal of that. I'm making sure I didn't have any other specifics he was going to tell them. Notes. I'm always the bane of my existence is I have too many notes. And then I can't find what I need, even though I wrote it down because I needed it. And Ash actually learned something he didn't know before, is that he sent a group of basically survivors to come to Thunderscrum, because he had them split up so they could rejoin later. And he's shocked of a company he sent here of 206 people actually made it. And he's like, I'll have to shake their hands, and I owe Gilbert 5 silver. Because they had a bet that, honestly, it's a very gruff, you didn't think they'd make it. And he's like, well, I mean, I had hope, but you said that in a warm tone, so you must not have discovered the 20 Maculians acting as their squad leaders. And so they have a thing of, you mean none of the Freedom Militia sold them out? Would you set your leaders out, even if they were morally dubious? The bet was if my men would follow my orders and split off when they escorted the others here, and every now and then it's a good thing when they disobey me. It's I thought you'd see through and kill them, and Gilbert said you wouldn't kill them even if you knew. Maybe I don't owe him then, since they weren't discovered at all.
Take that, Leo's dad.
And Victor tries to, put him down of, yeah, you sold them out yourself. And he's like, Honesty is the best policy when you're currently at a truce and you don't know how long it'll last, or how long your men can keep up appearances, and the person with the gun to your head is currently amicable. So they'll likely just arrest or banish them, hopefully. And he looks at King Henry, they won't be hanged, right? Please? But if you had found them later and realized that I'd lied to you, which I literally can't lie right now, so they'll be... I didn't want them to be discovered later. There you go. But you really should check your men better. I can give you their names if you like, that they may be using disguises, and I don't know what they currently look like. You're welcome. And they have him continue. They're probably going to go arrest some guys later.
A solid LOL moment.
Yeah. And they demand that he give them any intel that he has on Thunderscrum, because they have been, the espionage. And there's a lot of it where Ash is like, really, King Henry, I should tell you this in private. He's like, you're not going to be alone in a room with me, but I will make it a smaller crowd. And so they are eventually going to tell whatever. And basically it's a big information exchange of... Ash has a lot of information to give them. And they're like, do you have any other spies in Thunderscrim? And he's like, I don't currently have any. And Lord Jaeger pulls out a gun again, and he's like, there are 4 that I know of, but they're not mine. They're Lucia Vona's. And he, Victor almost punches Ash in the face, but he's like, listen, I'll tell you who they are. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I was right that Jesus is a character.
Jesus is a character. He was the champion of Omater, and it is said that if you call to him in a time of stress, any occasion where you'd say Jesus Christ, he may come and lend his aid to you. So that's why people say Jesus Christ all the time. It just became a colloquial thing.
I guess, how many robot bodies do you think it would take to trap Jesus?
Well, he's currently dead, but
Alright, Jesus' soul.
Right hand of the Father and all. You could try and resurrect the man. Well, he's been dead for more than 200 years.
Resurrecting Jesus, let's be original.
What's that?
If anybody could be resurrected, it'd be him.
It would be him, yeah. But you would later, in some sort of exchange of when they go to find... Because 2 of the spies that Ash knows about are in Lord Victor Jaegerin's top men. And Lord Jaegerin's pissed and threatens to kill him. And actually the entire Thunderscrim government is very unnerved. But as soon as Victor leaves... and you are in the smaller group of Ash telling everything that he knows about Thunderscrim so that Thunderscrim knows what's been leaked, he mentions to King Henry, he's like, so, as a tactical advantage, what might be useful to you is that there are actually 2 more that are not my men, but they are hired mercenaries that we've put to spy here. And Henry goes, retrieve! And they have those guys arrested too. It's like, sorry.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, they're spying on people.
It's fine.
And we pinky
Everyone spies on
promised
everyone.
to not. And then Ash remembers, and he's like, also, we have, there's one McCoolian that McCool told me about, that she's not an agent. I've never met her. No McCoolian's ever met her. She's self-taught. You're in engineering college. She found a book one time and worships in secret. I do worry she'll seek me out. And so they're going to also have her be sternly talked to, but probably not arrested.
Good.
Probably. Maybe. Probably.
Yeah,
And then
hoping.
when everyone is extremely unnerved and wanting to shoot Ash in the head for knowing so much about them, Henry has the point of, and this is why we need him, because he has information like this on every single one of our enemies. And everyone's like, alright, fine, we won't shoot this guy yet.
Yeah, no, he's like super helpful.
And Ash gives a bow upon the, we won't shoot you yet.
Guys, if we wasted a lot of, don't shoot him, because it would take so much time to fix that. Thank you.
So I thoroughly enjoy being useful. It's my favorite thing, is performing acts of service. And then he winks.
Oh God. By the way, Ash, sorry, King Henry, to talk over you. But King Henry, remember when we found that mithril that was being guarded by that one dead guy?
I do remember you telling me about that on the way to Wade's cabin, yeah.
Yeah. Ash, do we know anything about how to deal with the undead?
In what capacity?
It was a spirit, I think.
Do you mean
Like a ghost.
I have heard, actually, that Thunderscrim has sort of a ghost problem. And Henry nods, and he's like, we do have a ghost problem. What the fuck do you know about it?
Well, I've talked to him, so it was just like, I'm going to talk to him more if we know how to, if we know anything about that. I was just, sorry to interrupt, I just kind of jogged my memory,
No, they do
'Cause-
have the conversation of Henry asks what intel Ash has on what their ghost problem could be, and Ash tells him that it's very likely that the Raven Queen's just pissed at them, and they need to figure out what the deal is, because and the ghosts appear in a different way than normally, because a lot of ghosts, what's the word, they kind of forget who they are and become only what their thing is holding them is. Like, it's, this is no longer Billy Bob Joe, the guy who was murdered by his brother. This is just a guy murdered by his brother who slowly begins to think that...
Just an apparition, not a full manifestation.
Or that's what most ghosts are. But the ones in Thunderscrum remember who they are and believe that they're still alive. And so Ash does reveal, he says, have you ever heard of a concept known as psychogenic death?
And even I haven't heard of that. I'm, big boss.
So
I have. I love telling people about it.
Yes. It's quite horrifying. So, a while back, I realized that I am able to achieve psychogenic death at will. And I try not to, because, it's not good for you. And honestly, I may not be able to do it anymore, because the main thing was that I could always be affected by Revivify, because I was technically not dead, because Katrina had a piece of me alive. But I probably still can? Maybe? If, at the very least...
Let's not test it, though.
At the very least for a short time. But I'm a big fan of getting to other planes of existence. And, because, again, claustrophobic, it's my whole... It's a big part of my personality and the way I do everything. Don't fucking touch me. So I go ethereal, and so what the deal is that I frequently, mostly have done it to converse with other spirits of I'll achieve psychogenic death and then go to heaven. If McCool has not allowed me in his heaven because he's afraid I won't leave, and so I'm not allowed in. I have died once or twice and have woken up in my place, and he was... But the first time the psychogenic death happened, I woke up in heaven with the Lord standing over me, and he was like, how did you even do that? And I'm like, I'm not sure. Did I have a heart attack? He says, no. You just died out of nowhere. I'm like, that's interesting. And he sent me back, and it turns out that I got so sad that I fucking died. But occasionally I do use it for...
Oh my god.
...real reasons. And so, it's... I've just... The one time I was being haunted by a political opponent that I murdered, and slowly convinced him to go to heaven. And really I can't force them to do anything, I just speak with them for a great while. And, it's easier.
Therapy through psychogenic death?
Right, sort of. Another was just a random poltergeist who was, a scorned drow priestess who was trapped in a buried temple at Kishinki, and one was even, most recently, my own son, yes. Had a son recently pass away.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
Well, looks like we have some talk therapy to do. You too. Don't think you're getting out of it.
And you guys want to make an insight check?
I'd love to. That's 8.
Natural 20.
Nice.
Natural 1.
Nice. Nice.
Still a 9. Oh god.
The 10, Darian?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say, Carolina, maybe you're still looking for assassins, and Pale, you're just thinking about how sad Ash is, because you already know that it's... Oh god, what was his son's fucking name? The one that died recently. Oh god. wasn't Rowan, because George and Rowan are the adopted ones. And then, God, I don't remember. But from his memories, you know that when his son died, it's his ex-wife didn't tell him for a week. Or really, she wasn't even an ex-wife. She was just a one-night stand that he accidentally got pregnant. But they didn't tell him for a week because they tried to get other priests to do it. But then they fucked it up. And so his son was a ghost because he was only like half brought back to life. And they tried to resurrect him over and over again. So he turned into a ghost. And so Ash went there when they finally told him that he died. And then he convinced his son to go to Trinitea's heaven and not haunt the chapel they tried to resurrect him in. And it fucking wrecked him for a long... And that's why he got divorced from his most recent wife, Janet, is because... Which he got divorced 3 months ago, because Janet didn't want him to go resurrect that son, because then he would be leaving her alone, and she was like a psychopath, and Ash was like, you know what? Because she threatened... She was... Yeah. And Ash was like, you know what? Forget it. I don't care if you leave. I'm going to go resurrect my fucking son. Yeah. And it was a whole deal. But then, Bastion, with a natural 20, you see King Henry have a fucking idea. And you remember from episode 100 that Alba Lorfearl and Vivian and Cord told you that the way to make Henry have, I don't know, absolute trust in this guy and you guys is to mention to King Henry that Ash knows how to painlessly banish ghosts. And the way Ash does this is he also kind of dies and then just walks them to wherever they want to go. The astral plane or somebody's heaven or whatever. He's like, I can be quite persuasive. So I just talk to them until they do what I want them to. And I'd be happy to try with whatever ghost problem you guys have. Although I've heard it's different than typical ghosts, but maybe it's because it's deliberate on the part of your scorned mistress, with what being the first Thunderscramians being Raven Queen people, after all. And Henry just nods of he's having a very intense internal idea. It's the same forbidden fruit look that he had when you first showed him his lungs and heart, Bastion.
Finally.
Can't Ash talk to dead people?
You mean through, like, regular spells?
Yes. Well, no,
Are you saying this is Bastion or E?
Yeah, as Bastion.
Oh, okay.
It's just like offhandedly being like, what is the idea? Oh, that's the idea, probably.
Yes. Of maybe this guy can solve their ghost problem. But honestly, with a natural 20, you look into King Henry's eyes and you know that it's kind of bigger than that, or maybe even a little personal. That he's just realized that there's a problem that Ash specifically could solve. And he may need your help because he, doesn't trust Ash still, because, like, no one does, and they shouldn't, honestly.
Rude. Correct, but rude.
Or really, you can trust Ash Barlow. But it's, would be good practice not to. He's a man of his word, but, if he doesn't give you that word, don't trust him at all, ever.
Fair enough.
But yes, I've done it quite a bit of... once I started doing it on purpose, it stopped happening on accident, so often anyway. But that's when the second and third... No, the third time, that's when McCool was like, hey, angels at my gates, don't let this guy in, because he keeps dying so much that he's going to be hard to resurrect, and, I'm useful, so...
You're not just useful. Even in his own words, you're necessary. For everything.
Make a persuasion check?
Oops, I just closed out of roll 20.
Oh, come on.
Can one of you guys roll for me with a +1?
Plus
yeah,
one.
I got you.
This is fucking incredible.
Yep, it's better than my -1.
18.
Nice.
He tells you, it's, I've long dreamt about sobbing into the arms of the champion of McCool, and I will admit it was not you in those fantasies, but you'll do. And he pats your shoulder.
This is the greatest high that Tail has ever felt in his life. There's like the little tickle of Erica in the back of his mind, but that is immediately washed away with just, oh my god.
Nice.
It's the best day ever.
Okay.
Well,
Is
so
there
that
anything?
I do have to pop off.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nothing. See you guys.
Anything anyone wants to say or do before we head out?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Hey, it's your GM, Bailey Ford. I would like to thank our regular players, Darian, Matt, and Ian, Hip for our cover art, and Tabletop Audio for our background music. You can find us on Twitter at Illithids, and thank you especially for listening.
I stand before you today to confirm the allegations that we directly acted to assist the rebels in Stone Garden. This was done because their cause was righteous, and it directly aligned with actions that our kingdom has been planning to take for several years now. Since our nation's conception, the forces of Golgari and other ruling bodies across Macadia have actively sought to destroy this kingdom every day, every hour, because the celestial parasites they serve and the wizards who live to manipulate the world cannot stand the idea of a people not living under their thumb. We have reached a point where their aggression and subterfuge cannot be ignored any longer, and where we have the opportunity, ability, and a spark to get started. Before we even knew about Golgari's latest atrocities, because even without them, our resistance is justified, as I attended the Golgari High Council meeting to address the events of Stone Garden, I admitted our involvement, and in the faces of the leaders of every faction of this continent, on Thunderscrim's behalf, for the freedom of all people of Macadia, declared that we would be going to war to end this reign of terror. In the coming days, we will be distributing literature detailing our plan for what a post-war Macadia will look like, the parameters of conflict, including everything we'll be doing to preserve civilian life, our conditions for peace, and we will be exposing thus far unseen crimes done not only against Macadia's people, but against the universe as a whole, much of this uncovered with the help of Detective Eli Locke, the Macadian Rejects Adventuring Party. Most squarely, and the most compelling reason for this war, Pelorians and Golgari have been conducting light cleansing again, in addition to their new practice of stealing unborn souls from the Ethereum Stone, using these souls to power magical weapons. These missing souls have been what is causing the plane-wide rise in stillbirths that started last year. The leaders of Golgari have been literally sacrificing infants for power. The Macadian Rejects have recovered a great number of these souls, with many more to track down and rescue, and have devised a way for us to shelter and rehabilitate them into society. It is our responsibility because they are going to be extraordinary children from the moment of their birth, and we are the only people we can trust to protect and raise these innocent victims of Pelor's never-ending hunger for power. The details about these children and the plan for them will be explained soon in a series of public addresses. In all of our existence, our only demand of our neighbors is that they leave us alone. But from all the way across the continent, from their far high council seats, the minions of celestial parasites look upon us with absolute hatred, the greatest danger to their web of lies. Be with a god in your grave if you wish. Walk with them in your life if you must. Learn some cantrips if they'll help you. But the Wizards of Stone Garden only sought to lead because it gave them even broader power than they already had. The theocracy of Golgari does not serve their people. They serve gods who do not care what you suffer in life, but only how many sheep they can herd into the afterlife. Their leaders were not chosen to serve and protect them, they were chosen because they knew they'd build a bigger temple. When a mage is in power, their only concern is going to be lining their pockets so they can line a spellbook to bend the world to their will. And they would have every person on Earth beneath them, and they demand to reduce us to the same here. No matter how cruel, evil, and selfish my forefathers were, no matter how many lives they took through negligence, greed, and sociopathic cruelty, my forefathers could break our citizens' spirits, but they could never take our citizens' souls. The tyrants of the South can. Thunderscrim knows tyranny, but Thunderscrim also knows exactly how to get rid of it. We have been able to change. We now export food instead of starving while my grandfathers gorged themselves on mithril plates. 75% of Thunderscrimians can read, which is the highest rate in the world. We have 117 citizens who are considered homeless, and that is because they're weirdos who choose to live in tents in the woods. We invented vaccines and completely eradicated 2 plagues on our borders. Our infant mortality rate is 12 in 1,000. A mere 7% of our 860,000 people live in poverty, and the number literally goes down by the month. Since most of you are educated to understand those numbers, a unique majority, I will compare us to Golgari. 1/5 of Golgari's treasury is dedicated to maintaining temples, mage laboratories, and conducting holy ceremony. They have over 200 people die of starvation or polluted water a day. 15% of Golgarians can read, and of their 1 million, over 11,000 people are homeless, 200,000 live in shacks made of literal garbage, and disease is everywhere. Those who could heal with a touch refuse to save a common person's life unless they sell their soul to their patrons. Demons literally do the same commerce. 80 of 1,000 infants do not survive birth, and even if they do, nearly half of the people living in Golgari don't live past 45, and that average includes dwarves and elves and other long-lived folk. But I did not say those statistics to tell you how amazing all of you are, the people who have labored their entire lives to make those changes. But I say this to you to paint a picture of how unique a position we are in. Thunderscrum overcame tyranny because you, the citizens, united and had the power to make my grandfather step down and inspired my father and I to change the way we do everything. The South has no such power. They cannot resist the living hell that is living under a tyrant because they will live in hell for eternity if they so much as question the laws supposedly ordained by a god. A factory worker can't protest the tax that takes the bread from his mouth when they'll arrest him and force him to work to starvation if he does. A shopkeeper can't resist robbers who change their very memories so they forget the theft. A mother cannot raise her children when runoff from magical experiments poisons her and leaves them orphaned. Those orphans will starve in the street because the government cares more about holy incense than their lives. They demand their worship so they have the privilege of dying in the street instead of being smited outright. They demand their lives so a wizard can write down how interesting their death was. And they want to force those same exact conditions to every one of us here. You all could easily replace me if I gave you the reason to do so. But the South knows no other way. They have no other hope. Their people do not fight back, not because they're cowards or because they're weak, but because they don't realize it's possible. How long can we look to the South and watch them suffer? How long can we sit back, judging their leaders for not helping them when we also have the power to help and don't? How long until those who know we see through them come for us even more outright than they already have? The theocracy and magocracy of the South hold their people in siege, but they will hold it no longer. Thunderscrum has declared war on Golgari for their neglect, crimes against all peoples of the material plane, and the rest of the dimension. They will free their people, or we will do that for them. We will arm ourselves, we will arm Mercadia, we will teach them what it means to stand. We will teach their leaders how to serve and not be served. The only way they may subjugate us and extend their atrocities to our borders is when they pry our sovereignty and freedom from our cold, dead hands. For our people, for Thunderscrum, and for Mercadia. And there is one patriot among the crowd who yells the city's motto, "Fuck around!" and several thousand voices cry, "Find out."
Yeah.
And Henry quickly walks off stage and starts vomiting blood behind the stage where no one can see him.